Hello, Red Wave. Welcome to Where Bulldogs Podcast. We're your hosts, Caleb Nail. That's my good friend, Caleb Pletz. We're huge Fresno State athletic fans. Huge. And we like to talk about it. So that's what we do here. It's football season, so we're going to be previewing Fresno State versus Nevada. Upcoming game this Friday. Not Saturday, Friday. So we're going to get into it. But first, I need to know how you're doing, Caleb. Yesterday was rough. We had the live stream. It was actually pretty good. Some people aren't too happy with us. That's normal. But how are you doing after getting things off your chest, interacting with the Red Wave? It's one of my favorite times of the days, Sunday nights, win or lose, you get to interact with everybody. But from there until now, 24 hours, how you doing?
Definitely feeling, I guess, better. Got a good night's sleep, so that helps. But Sunday nights are always fun, so ditto there. It's just we had really good interaction in the chat, and that's always fun to see. And a lot of responses on socials, so we definitely appreciate people sticking around. And hopefully that continues for the second half of the season because it's crazy. Dogs are 3-3, so we're halfway through the season. Only 6 more games guaranteed for the rest of the way. So hopefully there's more than that, but that's all we're guaranteed. But I don't feel more confident in just kind of digesting everything. I think that this is another tough matchup, especially on a short week going to Reno. It's going to be colder than the Dogs have experienced so far this year. So a lot of tough environmental stuff that the team is going to be facing. And it's another show me what you can do, Coach Skip. Ultimately you're in charge, and how are you able to motivate the team and maybe even control the team or rein in the emotions? We saw that last week with some unnecessary penalties throughout the game. So you asked me how I'm doing. I am good, but always thinking about why we lost. So maybe I'm not so good.
I will say, after going through the past 48 hours, there is still football to be played. And the wonderful thing about sports is you can't hide anything, right? Whether like last 2 games, we were exposed. The wonderful thing about sports is that now we know where we're vulnerable. We can get better. Okay, you can always get better, but now we know where to get better. Mm-hmm. So now we improve this week, get after it Friday. And but dude, this is not going to be an easy game. This Nevada team is very good. And let's start with Nevada. Let's get to know them a little bit here. So Nevada comes into this game 3-4 overall. Their 3 wins were at Troy, 28-26 victory at Troy. Against Eastern Washington, 49-16 at home. And then last week, big win over Oregon State, 42-37. They were actually in Kirk Herbstreit's top teams of week 7. He puts out a post I don't know, I think it was yesterday or today, but they were in it. So that's a good win for them. Mm-hmm. Their 4 losses were to SMU. By the way, SMU is, I believe, in top 3 in the ACC right now. They're a legit team. Played them close, lost 29-24 first week though. Then lost to Georgia Southern at home 2017. Lost to Minnesota 27-0. And then lost at San Jose State 35-31. Caleb, looking at their record and the teams they played and how they fared, what are your initial thoughts coming into this game?
Well, I think the maybe results 3-4, maybe not super surprising coming into the season. Really low expectations for Nevada Wolfpack coming off probably a couple of their worst seasons in program history. But yeah, considering the competition that they played, they're a much improved team. And I think a lot of credit is due to their brand new coaching staff. I think Choate is his last name. So he's really doing So their team is playing hard, and they do have some playmakers on offense that are going to make it a difficult day for Fresno State. But I mean, I think that one of the interesting things to look at is they are they beat Oregon State last week, and they had a total of like 60 passing yards, 69 passing yards. They're 6 of 13 on the day. So they won that game on the ground. So I think their running game, obviously, very strong. So when we get into our keys here, we'll have more to talk about that. But just Nevada in general, much improved, and especially on a Friday too. Late Reno, there's going to be trash flying around on the field. There always is. And, it's just going to be the tough environment.
Yeah, we're going to get to weather soon. Some names that you need to know going into Friday. Brendan Lewis, starting quarterback there. Like Caleb said, against Oregon State, he didn't throw the ball a lot. He's thrown for 1,100 yards this year, completion percentage of 67%, 9 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. He's been sacked 10 times. But here's what you need to know about Brendan Lewis, is that he's their second leading rusher. He was their leading rusher against Oregon State. He ran for over 150 yards against Oregon State. He's a total of he's over 500 yards on the season with a total of 4 touchdowns. He's carried the ball actually the most on the team at 88. Their starting running back has carried the ball 86 times. Brendan Lewis, this is a third game in a row where we're playing quarterback that is very mobile. And by the way, this Brendan Lewis kid, he's not like, I mean, he's very slippery, but he's extremely tough. He's a tough runner. He's not going to back down from anybody. So we're adding that to he can get out of the pocket and beat us through the air. So that's Brendan Lewis. Okay, then the other name you're going to need to know, Savion Red. That's their starting running back. He's a transfer from Texas, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He leads the team in rush yards, 593. Leads the team in touchdowns on the ground with 7. This kid against Oregon State, Caleb, looked so good. Did he have 4 touchdowns?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he looked really good. By the way, you don't do that behind a bad O-line. Their O-line is very strong. So the running game, like you mentioned before, Caleb, is going to be probably priority number 1 in stopping that. And by the way, little sneak peek, I think we match up well against Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to come down to mentality. Last couple names to remember, wide receivers. Jaden Smith leads them in yards. Cortez Bram leads them in receptions. Jace Henry is their tight end. Kicking wise, they only kicked 5 total field goals this year, and their kickers 3 for 5. Matthew Killam, cool last name. The 2 he's missed have been from 40 plus. Defensive wise, their leading tackler, Drew Watts. You've probably heard that name before. Leads them with about 50 total tackles. Linebacker, and then along with Tongiaki. Good luck saying that last name. Great, two good linebackers. Leading the way in their sack column with only 2.5. Henry Ikahifo, my word. And then interceptions wise, they have Paulson Adebo. It leads the team with 3 interceptions. A couple guys one guy had a pick 6 against Oregon State. And do they have a safety?
I believe that was a safety. Crawford was the one that had the pick 6.
Okay. I'm looking at this. This got to be a glitch. They have 2 safeties, one named Tyron Matthew and another named Jonathan Abram. No way.
Maybe we're just old and those guys already have college age kids.
I think this is a glitch for sure. Okay, it was. Okay. Michael Coates Jr. It leads the team in interceptions with 3. Okay, there it is. Keaton Crawford. That was the pick 6. I don't know why it just flipped over to the Saints. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, those are the names you need to know. Brendan Lewis, starting quarterback. Savion Red, running back. Jaden Smith, wide receiver. Cortez Bram. And then defensively, I would watch out for Michael Coates. Keaton Crawford, I believe, and then their linebacker core. Caleb, when we talk about players, any players you're looking out for in particular?
Well, I think that in the secondary is going to be, interesting to watch. Like you mentioned, Crawford and Coates with getting the interceptions. Obviously, Mikey has had a tendency to throw picks this year with 4 of the 6 games, throwing 2 interceptions in each of those. So is that something that this Wolfpack defense is able to take advantage of and maybe create some positive scoring opportunities for their team? So between those 2 guys, it seems like Mikey needs to take extra care there. Obviously, I don't think he's doing it on purpose, but if they're able to disguise coverages and maybe give him some reads that he wasn't expecting, then maybe that's an opportunity for the Wolfpack.
It's going to be a good one. All right, Caleb. Let's get into our segments as we move along this preview. There's a lot that can make us sweat. Not Reno, though. It's going to be cold. But with the C&C, Caleb and Caleb, Football Factory, welcome Reno fans, Nevada Wolfpack. I think they like taking the Nevada because they don't like UNLV. They are Nevada. They don't like Nevada Vegas taking the Nevada name. They want to be Nevada, from what I've heard when we talk to these fans. Anyways, so welcome Nevada fans. We are the C&C Fresno State Football Factory. So going to make you sweat. Everybody dancing out. Those are our segments. There you go. Welcome to the show. Caleb.
As an expert on sweat and sweating, I may as well be a sweat scientist.
What is going to make you sweat?
I mean, poor quarterback play. Maybe it sounds kind of crazy to say that. I mean, coming into the season, I think one of the things we said repeatedly was, well, at least we know who the starting quarterback is. And, we feel pretty good about him. But, I mean, as the season's gone on, I feel less and less good about our quarterback position. So, I mean, I'm going to be sweating if there's another, performance from Mikey Keene where he is giving away points or, giving away possessions by turning the ball over. So, if there's an early interception, that's certainly going to make me sweat. So I did have a side tangent that I wanted to ask you about regarding the quarterback position. So hopefully it doesn't take too long. But when you mentioned earlier that, this is the 3rd game in a row that Fresno State has faced, a mobile threat quarterback. Is it just me, or does it seem like Fresno State is the one that is like kind of lagging behind the trend here? It seems like nowadays, if your quarterback isn't able to run, you're maybe not doing it right. And so it was just making me increasingly frustrated that, like, wow, what must be nice to have just another wrinkle to be able to throw into your offense and have a QB that can make a play. So obviously not slighting Mikey. He's, good in certain situations when he has good protection, but his inability to be an effective runner, I think, is kind of hurting the offense a little bit. So I don't know if you had ever thought about that.
Oh yeah, I have. Well, and it's, the talk around football nowadays is, starting at a young age, your best athlete is usually playing quarterback, right? At a very, very young age. And what has happened, they slowly transition out to running back or wide receiver or corner because they're faster and they can jump higher. Just the freaky athlete guys really usually play outside or safety or running back. Well, they decided to keep them at quarterback now. And now we've started to see, we get players like Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams, all these guys that are Lamar Jackson that were the best athletes on their team staying at the quarterback position. This is what we get. I think it has more to do with the type of quarterback that Tedford enjoyed and he was used to coaching, which I have no problem with because the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, I mean, I could beat him in a race. So, it's really, quarterback is just really about how smart you are. And then, you can make up for that, though, if you're freaky athletic. So, I would love a freaky athletic quarterback, but I would rather have the smartest quarterback behind a good O-line rather than a freaky athletic quarterback behind a good O-line. Now, if we have a bad O-line, I want the freaky athletic quarterback. Now, that's where the difference comes in, because Tom Brady is not escaping. I mean, I don't know how he did it. He had bad O-lines, and he still did it. But he was so smart. But I would much rather have the Lamar Jacksons and the Hajj Malik Williams of the world. I mean, just running through here, Caleb, let's look at this. Okay. Boise State, Maddox. Not really mobile. Okay. But UNLV, San Diego State, New Mexico, Wyoming, Nevada, and Air Force. But it's Air Force. So you have 6 teams with mobile quarterbacks. I don't know about San Jose State's quarterback. I mean, he just throws it up to Nick Nash. You're good there. I don't really know how mobile he is, though. But after that, you have Colorado State, Fowler Nicolosi, Mikey Keene, Hawaii has Shager, and Utah State has Petrus. Like, there's just gunslingers just going to throw the ball over the field. Well, the teams at the top are Boise State. They run the ball. I don't count that. UNLV, mobile quarterback. San Diego State, mobile quarterback. So there's something to it, but also, and a lot of it has to do with O-lines. But I'm with you. I would love to have a mobile quarterback. I think a lot of people would like to see Joshua Wood and what he has to offer. I mean, we have seen him a couple plays. He runs the ball a lot. He has thrown an interception. You see both sides of the argument that, hey, Mikey is the best we have. So we need to trust Mikey, or at least see what he can do. And other people just say, we just need to change it up. We need to change up the entire offense. And I think both of those things can be right. Right. And I think they were on pace for that early on when Joshua Woods would come in and do different things. But anyways, I'm with you. I would love to see a mobile quarterback, see what he can do. Were we talking about what's going to make us sweat?
Indeed, yes. Okay. Sorry for the distraction.
No. Yeah, so you were talking about our offense needing a good quarterback play. We need to have that. If we don't have that, then it's going to be a long night for us. I would agree with that. I also think that if we can't stop the run and take away their identity, it's going to be a long night. So we have to shut down their quarterback and Savion Red, the running back. If we can do that, I think we're going to be just fine. I don't know if Brendan Lewis could beat us through the air. So we're going to need good D-line play. We need to win in the trenches, and that their O-line can play. Nevada's O-line is pretty good. But I think matchup-wise, with our linebackers flying around, I think we can do it. We can play with them. But if they're successful, I'm going to really sweat in this run game. Okay, let's move on to Everybody Dance Now. Everybody Dance Now. We'll get copyright strikes if I play the actual song, so I can't. So you get Borat. Sorry. Caleb, Friday night, what will make you dance?
All right, so Bulldogs need to bounce back here. And thinking back to one of the more dominant performances from this team, week 3, hosting New Mexico State, the Dogs shut them out. And I mean, that's what it's going to take to get me to dance. Obviously, we're cheering for the Bulldogs to win, and I'll be happy, very happy if that happens. But if you want me to dance, the Dogs need to have a shutout on defense and really put a statement and say, hey, this is our team. We're going to take control of this. Also, my confidence in the offense just decreased so much that maybe it's like a 13-0 win. Obviously, I hope we score more than that, but it could be a super low scoring game this week with Fresno State offense playing well, and offense not really able to produce a lot of points. So I'm dancing if the Dogs shut out the Wolfpack.
I'll get behind that one. I'll dance too for that. I'm going with 3 interceptions. And if we end the game using all 6 of our timeouts, maybe we could probably just go to 3. If we use 3 timeouts total, but we'll go 6. We're going to go 6. And I would much rather have the 3 interceptions though. Caleb, you talked about the shutout. You'd like to see a shutout. Moving right into keys of the game, but I want to ask you, what do we have to do to get a shutout?
Well, I think that the defense has to start fast. Last game, the defense and even the coaching staff said in the press conference on Monday that they were really pleased with how they were able to adjust after the first 2 drives and giving up touchdowns early in the game, and then after that, played pretty staunch defense, played really good. The last 3 quarters they're really happy with. So obviously you can't give up points early and still pitch a shutout. So they're going to have to start fast and really contain the offense for Nevada. So kind of a simple answer there, but it has to start fast and obviously continue through the whole game.
Something that I would add that just came to mind right now is that the offense is going to have to win the time of possession battle, keep their offense off the field, and which I think we can do. We saw Elijah Gilliam dominate in the run game, dominate last week, so we should be able to. There's no excuse now. I'm excited to see what they do with Elijah Gilliam and Bryson Donaldson. By the way, we should mention Malik Sherrod is week to week. He's listed as week to week. He's not in the 2 deep, though, I believe.
At least for running back, they left him in as a kick returner. So maybe that's just for motivation for Jalen Moss. But yeah, at least at starting running back, he is not on the 2 deep.
Josiah Freeman is out, looks like, for the season. That is a total bummer. I don't know if you guys watched the press conference, but Pat McCann shared that on Josiah Freeman's touchdown catch, this is separate from his injury. Mike Keene actually called a hot route to Josiah Freeman and changed that play. So there's a positive. That's a good call, and he made the throw. He made the hot route, made the throw, made the right read. That was great. Then on the 3rd and 6, there was a run pass option, and he handed it off on 3rd and 6. I guess it wasn't the right read, but in my opinion, on 3rd and 6, you don't call the RPO. Don't call the RPO. I'm going to add a key to the game, Caleb. Well, actually, we were talking about injuries. There was one more injury someone was out for season. D lineman
Mordecai Hines is out for the year. So thankfully, Dogs are still pretty deep at defensive line, so I think they should be able to overcome that. But yeah, another tough injury for Fresno State.
How do you think this Josiah Freeman injury affects the offense?
Well, it's tough. I mean, he's pretty much our only bigger bodied target. I mean, I know that Delana can play big and Jalen Moss can play big. I mean, he can jump like crazy. So, but I mean, we don't really have a go-to go up and get it, catch a fade in the corner of the end zone, that receiver. So that hurts and it kind of changes the makeup of the receivers on the field. And so the rest of the guys are going to have to step up. Jalen Moss needs to have a bounce back game here. No drops and no silly moves catching kicks. So I think this is kind of a time for him to show up. I mean, we've been waiting for him to be the star receiver of this team. He's shown a lot of flashes of that, but then there's been some regression too. So between him and Delana, his super experienced senior on this team, I mean, those 2 guys are going to have to be the workhorses. And I mean, they've shown that this whole season. So that just needs to continue.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they use Beacham too. Beacham now becomes the big target out there. Mm-hmm. But he's not going to be out wide, I would assume. who knows? And then you got Raylan Sharp. I think Raylan Sharp has shown that he can play with the best of them. He's legit. I really like him. And so what, we didn't have Josiah that second half. And in my opinion, there's a difference when Josiah Freeman is not on the field. So I'm curious to see how we do things. All right, let's get back to keys to the game. Like we said before, I think I'm going to stick to this is stopping the run. We have to stop the run. That is Nevada right now. If we stop the run, I think we win the game. I think it's that simple. Load the box. I'd put 7, possibly 8 in the box, and make them beat us over the top. Because I don't think they can do that. But we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that we've seen that the defense can do that. In the most recent game, Phoenix Jackson played really well, and Malachi Langley played extremely well too, just gobbling up tackles. So, between the two of those guys and CV also, the linebacking crew, it kind of makes or breaks the defense, I think. The defensive line should get some decent pressure. Like you mentioned, I think Nevada's O-line is going to be competitive, so it's going to be tough. But, as long as Phoenix Jackson is able to kind of do his thing, he's really played himself into a lot of playing time this year. So, I think he's a big key player on that defense and, keeping the pressure in the backfield.
I will add, I saw Corey Foreman in the backfield a lot, forcing the quarterback, what's his name? Doesn't matter. Mateer out of the pocket. So Corey Foreman was there. Jacob Holmes does a good job. Devo was back. Everyone on the D line has played well. They're solid. And if they can take pressure off the linebacking core, that's going to be huge for us. And, we don't need, our D line is good enough to where we don't get like coverage sacks. They get to the quarterback and quickly. So now it's just a matter of containing him. Can we make the right read defensively? Is he going to keep? Is he going to give? And then can we wrap up? Tackling is going to be a big. I'm going to add tackling to the list for keys to the game. We have to wrap up and tackle first time. And then offensively, every game, Caleb, I'm going to say it, we just have to be clean. If we turn over the ball and give them more opportunities, we're not going to win because we need every possession we can get. So we have to
every yard, because I would have had like personal foul penalties into that. I wrote down no bonehead plays. We can't be giving away yards when it's increasingly difficult to get positive yardage. So that's stuff that we can control. Control the emotions, the unnecessary roughness penalties, and such. That those just cannot happen.
Yeah. I agree. I'm in for all those things. All right, Caleb. We mentioned it's going to be cold, but can you give us the weather in Reno and where it's going to be televised?
Yes, we got a Friday night game in Reno. Late kick, 7:30 kickoff. TV is CBS Sports Net, so that is good on cable. I've never heard of either of these two guys calling the game. John Sadak and Taylor McCargu nailed that. So at least we have TV, so we got that to look forward to. If you want to listen on the radio, Paul, Pat, and Kenny Wiggins will be on the call this week on Friday. With the late kick and weather kind of shifting in Reno, we got the high for the day at 51 degrees, so it's looking like it's going to be chillier, and so maybe in the 40s, high 40s at kickoff. So certainly a change compared to, an unseasonably hot or unusually hot, first 6 games of the season. So a little bit of a change, but maybe that's for the better. Football weather, I'm sure the defense prefers it to be cold. And so maybe that is maybe an unlikely key for Fresno State is getting that cold weather to actually get out and start hitting people.
It depends. I'm sure Cam Lockridge and Ozillian are not happy that it's cold.
The skinny guys, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then I'd much rather have a chance for a breakup and an interception than having to tackle somebody. Especially if I'm safety. If I'm Kosi or Dean, like pass the ball. I want an interception. I don't want to tackle a running back that's had a 12-yard head start on me, running full speed at me. All right. Fresno State. Fresno State opened as a 3-point favorite here. And the over-under opened and is still at 51.5. The spread has moved to Nevada just a little bit, but Fresno is still a 2.5-point favorite. Any thoughts on that and who you're taking?
Yeah, kind of interesting. It seems like there's still some respect for Fresno State, and I don't know. I guess it seems about right. I mean, if we're just going into picks right now, I think it's going to be a lower scoring game, so I'm going to go under on that. But I think Dogs win 20-17, so kind of right at that 3-point number for the Dogs being favored. So I think that the Dogs squeak out a victory. Defense does enough and is able to give enough breathing room for this offense.
Yeah, I think that is, after last week and after what I've seen from Nevada, I think this is probably the right thing to go. And Vegas has got it right more times than I have, that's for sure. But I do think this is a bounce back game for Fresno State. I think we match up well. So I'm going to go 31-18. Fresno State. 31-18.
Okay, so win by 2 scores comfortably.
Yes. So it's funny. The ESPN matchup predictor has it 50%. I don't think anyone knows what to do with this game. I think most people are staying away from it. If I was putting money on it, I wouldn't. I would stay away from it. So yeah, I think Fresno State will bounce back in this game, but I think it'll be close, and then Fresno will pull away late with Nevada trying to catch up. Yeah. Anything else, Caleb, that you have on this game that you'd like to share before we get into Mountain West scoreboard?
Yeah, just about covered all my keys. I mean, just one thing I guess I'm hoping for. I'd love to see more Bryson Donaldson. Elijah Gilliam had a strong game last game, but I do think that Donaldson is even better or has more potential just with quickness and able to make some guys miss and carry guys too, because he is very strong. So I'd love to see more Donaldson and give him more carries, more confidence for the true freshman.
How about a Jake Bouse touchdown? How about a little play action from the 8, and Jake just runs an out route and boom, touchdown. I think that would be great.
Or I'm back on like Joshua Wood rushing touchdown, because first 2 weeks I think he had rushing touchdowns inside the red zone, and then we kind of got away from that. Granted, we haven't had a whole lot of red zone opportunities lately, but I would love to see that as well.
We'll see if we can get Mac open on an 80-yarder. See, it would be nice. Friday games this year in college football have been wild, very entertaining. I think this is going to be one of them. Hopefully in our favor. All right, let's look at what we have in the Mountain West this weekend. Hawaii, Washington State. Hawaii played Boise. They were going to lose, but they looked somewhat competent. They didn't score many points. Do you think Hawaii has any shot in this one? Washington State is a 19.5-point favorite. You think, and it's in Pullman, Washington. Think Hawaii stands a chance?
I don't think so. I think that Washington State's going to make some adjustments after last game against Fresno State, and I think that they probably get their offense going a little bit more. So, especially at home, Cougars should take care of business.
Yeah, I agree. New Mexico plays Utah State. New Mexico is a 2-point favorite. This game is in Logan, Utah. Utah State looks bad. I think New Mexico is the better team here. I'm going to take New Mexico in this one. I'm going to take the underdog.
I'm going to take Utah State at home. I mean, the point total is crazy on this one, 78.5. So they're expecting a shootout here. But we did see an offensive explosion from Utah State this past week, and Spencer Petras shaking off his Iowa and actually throwing the ball around. So I'll take the Aggies at home.
Threw it over 50 times. I mean, Iowa scored over 40 points last week against Washington.
True.
When was the last time you could say that? Something about the Iowa players last week. Wyoming heads to San Jose, take on San Jose State. San Jose State should win this easily. They're an 11.5 point favorite in this one. I think they cover. I think they win and cover.
Ditto. Yeah, I think expect another big Nick Nash game, and Spartans should handle business.
Colorado State heads to the Air Force Academy in Colorado. Colorado State is a 7-point favorite here, but they should win. I mean, but granted, Torrey Horton is out for season. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but Torrey Horton's out for season. He's getting surgery. We'll see how it affects his draft stock. And the reason I bring that up is because he's a local kid. He's from here. Kind of been a down year for Colorado State. Not kind of. It has been a down year for Colorado State. But I don't think it affects. I think they squeaked this one out.
I'm gonna take the Falcons at home. I don't know, something just every once in a while, Air Force is just gonna take care of business and just run it down their throats. So they're at home. Take the home dog, and Colorado State, tough to lose one of your, or maybe your best player on offense. So I'll take the Falcons.
I like it. Last game, UNLV Oregon State. UNLV is looking really good, man. And I mean, I think their defense is legit. They're a 7.5 point favorite. This game is in Corvallis. Give me UNLV, but I'm going to take Oregon State to cover.
Yeah, this one's tough. Oregon State's a tough place to play, and especially at night. I mean, it's going to be rocking there. But UNLV in their running game, I mean, I think that travels pretty well. And obviously, Oregon State just dropped one last week to a team that we didn't really expect in Nevada. So I think I'll take UNLV. I'll take them to cover too. I think maybe they win by 10.
Okay. All right, man. This is going to be a fun week. I know I have a comfortable win for the Dogs, but I do not feel confident in that at all. That's more of my fandom coming out. This is going to be a really tough game, and I'm hoping that we have a bounce back week. I was hoping that after our bye week, but hey, we took a couple kicks to the chin and to the shin. Those hurt. I don't like that. Let's bounce back and win. Any last words on this game, Caleb?
I think we just about covered it, and I guess this is perfect timing for a Friday game for me personally. Got a wedding on Saturday, so will not have to miss watching Fresno State, and I'll get to participate at the wedding.
It's huge. That's huge, man. Good for you. Hey, for God to love the world, he gave his one and only son, that whoever believes in him will not perish, but have eternal life. You guys have any questions about Jesus or anything, or want to talk about Jesus? Let us know. We're both big believers in Jesus and follow him. So we'd love to talk about that. And as always, Fresno State football and any Fresno State sports. Lastly, as always, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.